guys? It's your boy Rudy Cardona. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is this guy doing making another episode? Well, this is a special episode as a reaction to the NFC and AFC championships games that went on this weekend. And yeah, I just want to talk about this shit, get it out of the way, and let's get moved on to the Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl selections, fucking NFL honors, and the Super Bowl. Not to mention these fucking games were insane, so this might as well, get it out of the way and talk about it now because that's what everybody's going to be talking about till the Super Bowl comes up. So, what was the first game? Let's talk about the Broncos versus the Pats. That was the first game, and, I mean, my predictions were that the Pats are going to beat the Broncos pretty much 27-20. I was fucking wrong. Broncos ended up winning 2018 against the Pats, and nobody to blame on this but the offense of the Pats and the fucking pass rush of the Broncos. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a pretty decent game back and forth, but Peyton really didn't do anything crazy in my mind. Got him 2 touchdowns, but he didn't even break 200 yards on a passing game, and it's supposed to be a AFC championship game. I mean, you're supposed to come out this game's NFC and AFC championships like gun blazing, to show what you're going to bring to the table when you come to the Super Bowl, and I didn't see shit. When it comes to what was happening with the Broncos, fucking pass rush was just dominating. Tom Brady, even though he was killing it all fucking season, was just getting dominated by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware all up on the line, and he didn't get enough time to really throw the ball around. And that's actually what ended up happening. He didn't get enough time to get, the wide receivers open to get the ball down the field. I mean, they were moving the ball on a consecutive basis, but he wasn't getting the touchdowns that they needed. He didn't even score a touchdown, actually. They got down to the red zone, and they ended up handing the ball off to Steven Jackson, and he ran in there for a touchdown. But it's just fucking nuts. I mean, when you really think about it, Tom Brady's been fucking dominating the whole season. And I honestly think that fire under his ass was due to, the whole Deflategate scandal last year. But he's been fucking dominating, and they just fucking choke it up at the end. Funny thing is if you look back at this game, so many things could have changed the momentum of this game. First off, Gostowski, the kicker for the Pats, missed the extra point, so that didn't help them out anywhere. I mean, it still would have been a 2019 game, but still, shit, it would have helped. It would have been nice for them. My biggest problem with the game, watching the game back and forth, was that the Pats made it to the red zone 2 times consecutively before their final drive of the game, and both times they decided to go it on 4th down. If you kick the field goal at that point for those 2 4th down conversions instead of losing the ball, you actually bring the game to 2018 in your final possession. So had they had 20-18 with the final possession, all you need to do is get down to field goal range, kill the clock as much as possible, give Gostowski, the best fucking kicker in the league, the ball, and let him kick another fucking field goal, and you win the game 21-20. That's just me, though. I didn't fucking understand it. When you really look back at it, I don't know what they were trying to prove with their 4th down conversions. I guess what they thought was, at least if we don't get it in this red zone area, then we give them the ball back, and they got to work the whole field to give us back the ball. But what's the point? Like, score the points, get on the fucking board, and keep it moving. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what Bill Belichick or Josh McDaniels was thinking on offense. Maybe they didn't trust Gostowski after he missed that extra point. Maybe there was just something wrong in their heads. I don't fucking know. Maybe they just thought, we can't give Peyton the ball. But I don't even understand that because Peyton was struggling against the Pats defense the whole fucking game. So I don't even know what to say. On top of all that, pretty much to end off the whole game was that Tom made it all the way down, to get the touchdown, bringing the game to 2018 on the last drive. And he goes for the 2-point conversion. He ends up trying to give it to Edelman, but the analysts have been looking at that play over and over and over, and if you have been able to find it, they actually show Gronk in the back wide open, and if he catches that ball, we get a 20-20 tied game, and we take it to overtime, and we see what happens from there. But honestly, it never should have got to that point. I mean, the Pats have been dominating the whole season, and their offensive line fell apart the last game. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year, especially in the draft, because the Pats don't have a first-round pick. So they can't afford to spend a first-round pick on an offensive lineman that would actually be able to help them. But this definitely shows them that you can't be going into, a deep run to the playoffs with a mediocre offensive line or kind of switching them up the way they have been the whole fucking season. So there goes that. Better luck next year, Pats. But, it's funny. I was telling my friend who's a Pats fan, I was like, if Peyton wins the Super Bowl and he retires, or even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl and he retires, it'd be better for the Pats because then you have one less opponent to go through. Because without Peyton Manning, the Broncos are gonna fucking suck next year. And I don't want to say suck because the defense is still gonna be top notch. But Brock Osweiler isn't gonna help them make a deep run into the playoffs the way they want to make. So we'll see what happens with that. And I don't see them drafting a quarterback. So I don't know what John Elway is gonna do. I don't know what that organization is gonna do. But we'll see what happens with that whole thing. Yeah, so that's that game. Broncos ended up going to the Super Bowl. Is it well deserved? I don't know. Defense is definitely holding up. Defense is definitely playing Super Bowl caliber defense. But if they want to stand any chance against the Carolina Panthers, they're gonna have to step their game up and really, dominate on both sides of the ball, which means Peyton's gonna have to do his thing. And if they don't, and the Carolina Panthers get ahead of them, there's no way they're gonna win a shootout or a comeback contest. So, speaking of the Carolina Panthers, let's move on to that game. Not much to say here. Fucking Panthers dominated 49-15 against the Cardinals. Yet again, I mean, I predicted that they would win, but a blowout is completely I still can't believe it. Bruce Arians, Carson Palmer, those guys looked like they were ready to go at least. I mean, the defense was okay, but it just couldn't hold up. Every time Cam and the Panthers got the ball in their hands, they just weren't going to let up. Every time they got the ball, they just kept scoring. And every time the Cardinals got the ball, they just kept turning it over. They had I think 6 turnovers by the end of the game. 4 interceptions, 4 interceptions by Carson Palmer, and I think 2 fumbles total. And I'm not sure if those also came by Carson Palmer, but they just happened. And that's what ended up happening. Even if there was any type of momentum in that game, it was just swayed and shut down really simply. Biggest moments, as I don't think there's anything crazy. I mean, except for the Patrick Peterson fumble. He tried to return it on a punt return. Tried running full speed to catch the ball in stride, I guess, to give himself some extra momentum to get up the field. And he didn't secure the catch. It dropped, it fumbled, and he gave it away. He did redeem himself, though. When he fumbled that ball, he gave it to the Panthers. In that same drive, Cam did throw a pick, and Patrick Peterson was the one that ended up picking up the ball. But I mean, that was a great shift in momentum for the Cardinals to be like, okay, we fucked up, but now we have a chance to bring it back. So he made the play. He brought it back pretty deep with it, but literally like the next play or next 2 plays, Carson Palmer gets the ball, tries to chuck it into the end zone for a touchdown, and gets picked off. So as soon as they got some momentum on their side, it just got shut down real quick by the defense of the Carolina Panthers. And there's nothing really I can say about the Carolina Panthers. They pretty much have been dominating this whole season. They went into the playoffs and they've been dominating there. I mean, they went against the Seahawks and just put up a 31-point run against them. They went into this game, won 49-15. These guys don't look like they're stopping anytime soon. Cam is still playing like he's having fun. He's playing out of his mind. The defense is playing dominant on both sides of the ball. I mean, for as far as that, I mean linebackers, corners, defensive line, everybody on that defense is playing solid football. And even watching that game, Carson Palmer couldn't throw the ball anywhere. He got picked off by corners. He got picked off by the linebackers. He got batted down by the defensive line. That defense is playing like really, really strong. And I wouldn't be surprised if they dominated the Broncos. I mean, obviously I was wrong in my predictions with the Broncos and the Pats. But the problem that comes down at the end when you're looking at the Super Bowl, it really comes down to whether or not the Panthers decide to make a deep run point-wise in the beginning of the game. Because once Cam decides to, or even not Cam decides, but once the Panthers put up a good enough points where it's too hard to make a comeback from it, nothing's going to save the Broncos. If they go up a 30-point deficit, there's no way Peyton's going to make a comeback from that. You would need your defense to play solid and make picks and turnovers to the point where you can save the game, inch by inch. And I don't think the Panthers are going to make. I mean, the Panthers could, fall apart. I mean, you can't say anything on that because the Patriots definitely fell apart during their season when they lost. Their almost undefeated season when they lost to the Giants. So anything can happen in the Super Bowl. But honestly, the way these teams are playing, I wouldn't be surprised if the Carolina Panthers won. But saying that, it makes you wonder what this would mean for either side. I mean, if you look at the Panthers, it'd be great for them. It'd be great to see Greg Olsen get a Super Bowl. Thomas Davis, it'd be great to see these individuals get the Super Bowl. especially for Cam Newton to show that next generation coming up and that he can prove all those naysayers wrong when he was coming out of the draft. But at the same time, if the Carolina Panthers beat the Broncos and beat them by a substantial amount, then I think a lot of people have to look back on Peyton Manning's career and really like, he was one of the greatest of all time, but at the same time, he couldn't get the job done when it really mattered. And especially now when he's close to the end of his season, like this could be the last game of his career. And I mean, if he wins, then obviously I think he's going to retire. I think he pulls a Ray Lewis and, retires no matter what. But this would be that, that final chapter on a storybook ending for him and his career. But at least if he loses, Peyton has to go down fighting. He's got to go down shooting. Because if it's a fucking one-sided contest the way it was with the Seahawks versus the Broncos a couple of years ago, where they just completely blew them out the water, then that's it. And Peyton's career is going to be, tarnished in a sense for the rest of his life. I mean, he'll always be considered as one of the greatest of all time, but at the same time, he'll always be that one who couldn't finish the job. And I mean, I guess you could say that about like Dan Marino, but Dan Marino's always going to be regarded as a quarterback who was always amazing, but didn't have all the pieces around him to actually get to the Super Bowl. Now he has no excuses, especially if the defense plays out of their mind and Peyton's the reason why they lose the game. But yeah, that's just crazy ass reactions to what happened over the weekend. I'm still in shock. I still can't believe the Pats lost. I expected them to go to the Super Bowl. I expected it to be one hell of a game between the Pats and the Carolina Panthers, but I guess we'll have to wait till next year or, see whatever happens with that organization or see what happens in general. Thanks again, guys, for listening. This has been a special edition of the Easy on My Eagles show. As always, leave comments, review, subscribe, everything you guys got to do. And remember, it'll always be up on Fridays every week. So tune in on Friday. You'll see the next episode and enjoy your week. And as always, even on special episodes, please, please, please take it easy on my Eagles. No, seriously, take it easy.